Yes.
Anything
Hey,
else you'd like to
everybody.
share with us?
Well, thank you for take care of us, and I appreciate. I think that
We
we
have
are going to be okay. But
wildfires
thank you.
raging out of control
Okay.
in
And now
the
you're
state
getting
of
ready to hit the
California.
road. What do you expect right now? We were coming this way. We saw a lot of traffic. Are you getting ready to hit the road? You're going to hit the road right now?
Well, we're waiting until they come in to say evacuate. In the meantime, we keeping waiting. I hope they not coming and evacuate. But if they come, we are ready.
You're ready to go, just like
Yes.
many other neighbors. And you
We're
guys,
going
Yep.
to my daughter-in-law mom, St. Halios. So they are. That's why we're going. Because my daughter lives in Santa Clarita and just by
And
the
this is
mountain
why I
too,
would
and she's
never
very
live
nervous too.
in California.
So he's saying, "Mom, I mean,
Ever.
don't come in here." So they go to Adriana's house. My daughter-in-law.
nerves and heartbreak, devastation, all understatements.
Yes,
in this
yes.
situation.
I know everybody's
And
like,
I hope it's
oh,
not
California's so pretty.
coming to this the fire not coming to here because
no.
everybody we work so hard to keep it like to have this property, and they destroy it for in 1 minute. So we pray not happen nothing
You mentioned you worked so hard
to have the property, to buy the house, and I hope nothing happen.
How many years of work has it been for you and like many of your neighbors to buy this home right now?
Well, we bought this house with my husband. My husband, he worked so hard, but unfortunately, he passed away for the COVID 4 years ago. So now with my son live in the house, but I'm still the owner, and my son is the owner too. So.
In any of the items you're taking tonight, are any of your son or your late husband's pictures or any of his things in that?
And actually, just most of my medicine, not picture. I didn't take it because there's a lot of picture. So if anything happen, I have in my heart.
And then one more time, what are you feeling right now? What are those
Yeah,
emotions when you think of how hard you've
everybody,
worked
when it comes
for this
to
home and your neighbors?
And we only pray.
when it
pray
comes
not
to
happen nothing,
pictures,
and to keep in my house
know,
like the way it is.
it's hard
I
to
hope nothing happens.
pack up a whole bunch of
Thank
pictures.
you so much, Elizabeth. We appreciate your time. Our thoughts are with
Pictures
you and your
take up a
neighbors
lot of
tonight
room.
and many here in Los Angeles.
What you can do though
Nice evening.
is
Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
have
You guys
somebody
have a
come
good
in and
week here,
take a
okay?
high quality photo
Yes, thank you,
of
Elizabeth.
every
So
picture
we've
that
just
you
been
have,
talking with Elizabeth Morales.
and
She
you
has
put it
lived
on
in
an
this
external
neighborhood
hard
on Los
drive
Olivos
on your
Street in
computer.
Roxford since
And then,
2006. Her,
if
like
you got to get
many,
out the house,
mentioned that they worked so hard for their homes,
ASAP,
and to see it so close to the flames here,
you grab your
right next
medicine,
to
you
the
grab your
hillside, is
documents,
obviously devastating. The feelings we're hearing right now
and you
is
grab
obviously
that
nervous,
external
and
hard
our heart
drive
breaks
that's
for
got
everybody
all
already
your
having to
pictures
have
on it,
gone through the
and you
fires
get out.
earlier from today. I do want to mention we were coming this way on the highway. There was a lot of traffic. I am hearing that some of those highways potentially could be heavily with traffic right now, and we
Yeah,
are
because
also
everybody,
hearing, well, we're hearing right now those
because these
gusty winds,
areas
but we're also hearing there are some detours, so you want to make sure you have those
only have
ready to go if you
like
are
one way
headed
in
out
and
of
one
this
way out,
area. Again, I
where
am
these
on
people
Los
want to live up here
Olivos
in
and
the edge of these
Roxford
mountains.
Street in Silmar, and you can see once
No,
again that hillside burning behind us here. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Cassandra, thank you for that live report and that heart-wrenching interview with that woman who is having to deal with so much.
Oh, that was sad. You know, she said she made sure she
so
had her
many
medicines,
people just
and
get
then when Cassandra asked her, did she
used
take any
to
photos or anything, she goes, I have all those memories in
how
my
life
heart.
is.
She wanted to make sure she had her medication. That really was an incredible interview.
They don't
You know, let's
plan
go
to
back to our
have
colleague
to
Marco Robles. He's in Upper Hastings Ranch.
evacuate.
And Mark, we spoke to you a few hours ago, and it looks like, are you on the clock right now? I take it you're not part of evacuating, but I want to know, did you evacuate?
You know, we're under
Most
the,
people
an
couldn't
evacuation warning on the
get
south
up and get
end,
out of their house
south of Orange Grove,
within
north
2
of the
minutes.
210 freeway. So I got the kids out of there.
Hey,
They
Val.
left, and here I
But
am. We're
most
now
people
showing you
couldn't
what's
get up and
happening
get out of
here
their house
in Upper Hastings
in less than
Ranch
2
and what a
minutes
heartbreak. We have at least 2 homes that I can see that are up in flames.
and be able to grab
Fire.
their
And we here
wallet,
on scene assisting with this firefight.
their car
For those
keys,
people who are watching
their
live, they live in the
shoes,
Upper Hastings Ranch area and they have
grab a
evacuated.
change of
This is
clothes,
on Rivera Drive. I want to say
and
we
get
are
out the
probably
house
north, maybe 3/4
in
of a mile up
in 2
from
minutes.
Sierra Madre Boulevard. So this is a Rivera Drive.
Because
homes. We have this home, and then further up
they
there's one
live
other
in
block,
this
and that one is fully
society
evacuated.
of
And again, this is one
my home will always be there, and they come in and they drop stuff. They drop their keys on whatever flat surface. They kick their shoes off. They take their clothes off and scatter them here, there, and yonder. Now me, I don't live like that. I know exactly where my wallet is, my keys are, my sunglasses, my shoes, my medicine, everything. Now my wife, yeah, she's the exact opposite.
Right now, it does not appear that any homeowners are here, that they have heeded the warning. A lot of these embers now blowing with this very intense wind. But the resources I've already heard with our coverage.
And also, I keep saying this. I keep preaching and preaching and preaching. Don't live in an area like this. So many people get attached to a certain area.
So 2 homes that I've seen. We're going to survey the area, see what we can find.
And
but again, it is heartbreaking to see how resources are so thin.
you're literally putting your life in danger living in some of these areas. Like the whole rest of the country right now. It's freezing temperatures. You don't have to live there. You don't have to live in Florida where you got to deal with hurricanes every year. You don't have to live in California where everything is getting so stupid expensive and there's wildfires every year.
Is that correct?
Yeah, Mark, it feels like that, but the wind speed.
You ain't got to live in these areas.
So earlier, just about half an hour ago, I heard Dallas talking about.
Everybody always gives me crap about living in the Phoenix area because it's so hot. It's so hot because they're looking at the temperature. Oh, it's 115.
Right at you, and you can really feel it.
And they're comparing it to what it would feel like if it was 115
You can see from this
where they live.
in the Saddle Tree Ranch neighborhood. The fire is just
In the
right
summertime
there
here,
mountain,
our
so
humidity
close
is
to
in the
this
single
neighborhood.
digits.
And I know that a lot of the residents here, they've been evacuating. We saw horses all throughout the neighborhood. They were evacuating the horses as well.
Yeah,
A
Val.
little bit earlier, right before
All
we
these
got the video, we caught
these
up with
Santa
someone
Ana winds
who
that happen
had his
every
horse,
year
and he was
and
trying to
these
find shelter
wildfires that
for
happen
his horse. So I really hope everything
every
worked out there. But
single
staying in this spot
year.
right here, we see a resident. I want to go talk to him. So he looks like he's spraying down his house, and he's
And
not
every single
evacuating
year, if
stuff.
you're
I
living
wanna
back
get to the
east, you
bottom
got to
of it
deal
and
with,
figure out what's going on.
you know,
Why is he deciding to stay
storms and
here? Hi, sir.
tornadoes and
Hi.
freezing
Wilderness 87.
temperatures.
What's your name?
Jose.
Why?
Tell me a little bit about why haven't
It
you
makes
evacuated? Is it
absolutely
confident
no
being here?
sense.
Well, not really, but
And I know a lot of people are probably
I just cannot go. I mean, this is
looking
my
at
house.
these
I'm just trying
people
to
wearing
do
masks.
the most that I can.
Like,
So,
why are they
you know,
wearing a
this is
mask? I ain't
yeah,
wearing a
Are
mask
you worried
anymore.
about being so close to the
Well,
fire? You can see
it
the
is.
fire.
It is. It is.
a mask is
I'm
helping
just
them
so
right now
scared,
because
but I
of
mean,
the
all
poor
everybody
air
left already.
quality.
So I'm just here, but just trying to be calm.
Basically,
This is
what
so
I'm saying
difficult.
is, everybody,
But
Your family has
don't
left. Where did
be
your
yeah,
family go?
yeah,
stubborn.
they are work with some other family members.
Okay.
So yeah, like a couple miles away from here. So just trying to stay safe.
Yeah. And you're
Yeah.
just hoping and praying for the best outcome.
Yeah.
Are you going to stay here all night? Is that your plan?
Well, I believe so because this is gonna be the second time we are going through this in 13 years living here. So I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Tell me a little bit about the first time going through this. Was it
And
similar?
also,
How
if you live in
prepared did
somewhere
San Santa Ana
that
then. Yeah, it's the last one.
is prone to wildfires.
Believe it or not, probably the first time it was worse.
You can make your home
It was worse because we have fire
not
all the way
impervious to
here inside,
wildfires, but
all the
you
way in my
can
backyard, on the
make
backside,
it
I
not
have,
just be
firefighters going through my
able
house just
to
get back there.
Yeah.
So
easily
I
Does
catch
that
fire.
happen really fast? Are you worried? What if that happens?
One is
Okay.
store water.
it doesn't take like not even like 20 minutes.
You know, 55-gallon barrels full of
So what do you do to
rainwater.
prepare? I see you have your hose.
Yeah,
You can buy those plastic ones.
Everything the most that we can get wet. So
Put you
just try to do something.
brass
Seem very
sprinkler
confident.
heads
I know that you are
on your
worried
roof.
right now, but again,
I am.
Get you a generator.
so
Yes,
good
I'm
luck.
sorry.
Thank you for talking.
Thank you.
Make
thank
sure
you.
that you
So,
have gas
you
for
just
your
heard Jose.
generator.
He's obviously he doesn't
Rotate
this
the
is
gas
his
out for your
policy. If it wasn't for
generator
him, he wouldn't
by
wanna
putting it
be
in your
here.
car every so
But this is
often
his home
and
with
getting
all
fresh
the
gas.
house,
Make
and
sure
his
the
family
generator
has
works.
evacuated. So at least
Have a
his wife
water
and
pump to run
children,
those
they are
sprinklers.
safe, but Jose is just trying to
If
hold
you
it
have a
down for
pool,
his family
you know,
and
pools
keep
are full of
their
water.
home standing. He's just
You
spraying,
can put a
making sure
suction
it's
line
wet.
from the
There's no
pump
dry areas
into
on his
your
home. He's lived
pool
here for 13 years.
and
This
basically
is
do what
his
he's
time,
doing right
but he's
there.
gone through this in 13 years. So
You got
really
sprinklers
crossing
going
our fingers
on
and
your
hoping that
house,
Jose's house stays intact. The rest of the
and your
neighborhood
house
here,
isn't
there are
covered
some
in
people outside
vegetation.
kind of just looking at how close we are to the fire. Again, very
You
close to
know,
the fire.
you
And
got to
this
be
isn't a
proactive.
pedestrian neighborhood. We've seen plenty of horses
It's like how
passing
many
by. They're
people
saving those horses.
don't
So
have
that's what
fire
I'm trying to
extinguishers in
see.
their home.
We've been in 3 different locations now all night. We were in
Walmart,
Pacific Palisades earlier,
Lowe's, Home
Santa
Depot,
Monica
Ace
Boulevard,
Hardware.
and here in Silmar.
They sell
And
fire
although it's
extinguishers
really
every
hard
single
to
day.
tell with these conditions constantly changing, it's just a fluid situation. It's hard to
I see
see
videos all the
what it's
time.
going to look like in the next hour,
Somebody
in the
shooting a
next
video in
2
their
hours
home.
as the winds really start to pick
And
up.
in the
But
background, you hear
here
their
in
smoke
those
alarm
other
battery
2
going
locations
beep,
that we were at tonight, at least
beep.
it's not as bad as the Pacific Palisades here in Silmar.
Go
The
buy a
power
new
is losing,
9-volt
the
battery
winds
for
just
it.
roaring in the next couple of hours. Definitely has the potential to get to that point. Of course, we're hoping it does not, but I know the residents here, they're on standby.
You know,
They're
everybody wants
probably ready
to
to go at a moment's
prep
notice. There's no mandatory
by having all this
evacuation orders
food,
here in this neighborhood. But again, this is such
but
a
nobody wants
fast
to
evolving
prep
situation. We'll see what happens in the next couple of
to
hours.
like,
I'll send it back to
oh
you.
my God, I got to get out of
Yeah,
my
Joe,
house
I'm
in
going
5
to stay
minutes.
with you for a little longer here because
Like,
you
how
know,
many
you
people
can't
are going to
help but
watch
feel for
this
that gentleman who's trying
video,
to put water
this
on
live
his home
stream,
because we have been talking about
and their
the
cars have
firefighters
less than
and
a quarter
it's
of a tank
been
of
so
gas in them?
thinly because of this wind event and so many fires that have been
My car
breaking out
never
all
gets
over
under
the
a
place.
half a
So,
tank of
you know,
gas.
I can
And
understand
then
why
if it
you
does, I
want
go
your
fill it
car,
up
to own your home
just
and
in
you don't
case
want anything to happen. And
something happens.
are you going to talk to somebody else as well?
We're looking around to see who else there is. I do see a couple people, Jose's neighbors. They're just watching. We can go talk to them right now
So many
and
people
see
have their important
what their
documents
story is, what
in
they're
their
doing
home,
here, why they have not evacuated. But you can see right
like
now
their
it's very
marriage
peaceful. They are really just
license,
coming. Talking to you
uh,
guys earlier, it was
birth
calm, but right now I can really feel it.
certificates,
And again, I would
all
have
that
to
stuff
guesstimate anywhere
in
between
their home.
30 to 40, 45 miles per hour. That's what it feels like, at least.
Instead
So
of
we have
spending the
2
money to
gentlemen
put it
here.
in a
Jose's neighbor.
safety deposit box
Hello,
in a bank.
we're live. We're live right now on ABC 7. Joe Biden's are you a neighbor? Do you live here?
I do.
You live here. So tell me, how come you haven't evacuated? Have you gone through this situation before?
Yeah, this is probably my third time already.
How would you compare this to the past?
It was a lot worse the second time.
I mean, hell,
Yeah, the
a lot
the
of
month
people
before this one was as bad
that take
as this one.
medication like I do
Damage that you saw with that one.
don't
What
have
happened
the
to
medication
run
wrote
this
down
one?
anywhere.
Of course, we're just. I mean, I'm assessing the situation, and
I have a
I'm not
list
gonna
in my
change it
wallet
myself. So
of
yeah,
each
and
one
you
of
can see
my
it sorta died down, which is
medications.
good.
Yeah, right now
So
it's
if I got to
just
get
one
out
with
of
the
here
roll in that
Yeah.
and I
fire.
don't have
And have you seen
time
the
to grab
firefighters on your street
my
helping get people
meds,
out?
Yeah, they did come through.
I have a
because
list
we have a fire hydrant right there.
of
And
what the
then they're
meds
right up
are.
here, I guess, battling that one behind the houses.
Yeah, but you're not.
We also have Tylenol
No.
and
My
Tums
son Ryan.
in our car.
Hi. Tell me a little bit about your experience. Is it scary seeing this and how close you guys are to the fire?
No, like he was probably saying, this is probably like the third or fourth time this has happened.
Yeah, we're used to this.
It's living on the foothills like this.
You know, you just have
Just
to
a
be
known thing.
It's one of those
prepared.
things where you just,
And so many
you
people
have to
aren't.
prepare for. It's one of those things you got yourself into,
Yeah.
and you've seen this. You said
Like I said,
this
it's
is-
not the first time.
right.
And I'm sure it's not the last time.
Right.
Or
Your home has never had any damage from any
their
fire?
preparedness
Okay, you're very
is
lucky.
relying on
Is there anything that you
someone
guys are doing?
else.
I also see a hose in your yard as well. Is that what you guys are doing, hosing down the place?
And it's like,
helping out the neighbors, hosing down whatever we can to just help out while we're
you
still-
got to rely
Definitely helping out the neighbors.
on
That's one thing
yourself,
that I've noticed a lot of people in this neighborhood are
not
doing.
rely on
Thank you for doing that. Yeah,
somebody
definitely
to
a
come
very
save you.
tight-knit community. And I mean, he said it best. When you live in the foothills, you kind of just you know what you're getting yourself into. So these people
And also
they're
that a woman
strong and,
has ski
very
goggles on.
brave. So I really hope
You know what
for
those ski
days the fires
goggles are
really don't
doing?
intensify and the winds
They're keeping
at
the
least
smoke out of her eyes.
hopefully don't intensify to the point where they are under mandatory evacuations. Because right now it seems
She's
many
wearing
neighborhoods,
a
Saturn,
brightly
Tree,
colored
Ranch,
jacket.
things are okay. The fire hasn't made it down here yet, but it is very, very close. Colleen and Mark.
All right.
Yeah.
Nico, thank you for that report. This is David Ono now, taking over for Mark and Colleen.
We
And
live
into Hastings Ranch right now,
prepared.
Mark Cota-Robles, who has been
She has a
watching
change of
this,
clothes in the
heat
car.
Fire really spread. Mark, what's the latest?
I have a change of clothes in the car. She has a pair of comfortable shoes in the car. I have a pair of comfortable shoes in the car.
Hastings Ranch, and again, as I mentioned minutes ago, the winds continue. This is such a devastating
Just in
situation.
case
I've been in this
something
area
happens and we
after
got
running
to
for, just about 10 years.
get
I've
out
never had winds
with
like
just what
this here.
we went to
So
bed
this is
in.
just a really tough event. This home,
We have a change of clothes in the
obviously you
car.
can see it is a complete loss. This is the second home that we've seen. There's now a third one right here up the street. You can see the resources here on the street. We had LA County firefighters that are responding, and I believe there's a resident right up here who is not
I just bought
evacuated. They were using their hose
more
minutes ago. They're waving
pain
down.
meds.
Hi there.
Bought these
That's
from
why
the
I decided not to
Dollar
leave.
Tree.
I know I'm not supposed to be here, but this is my parents'
40
house.
capsules for $1.25.
They just lost. They got canceled from their fire
The Tums you can
insurance.
buy at the Dollar Tree work.
So they're dealing with this. They're 90 years old, and through the state of California, because of this, they're 90 years old.
And also,
They've lived in this
if
house
you're at home,
for
there's no
75
reason
years.
your
They
phone
have the
shouldn't
same
be
insurance,
on the charger.
and these insurance
There's no
people
reason.
decided to cancel their fire. And we're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance. So thank you, California insurance companies, supporting residents who pay taxes and love California. And they wonder why people
Well,
leave
let's see.
California.
You own the home. It's your responsibility to your responsibility to have insurance on your home. Like if you lived in a flood-prone area,
Yeah, I snuck here.
it's your own responsibility to have flood insurance.
Probably shouldn't do it, but you know what? Under the circumstances,
We
send me to jail.
rent.
That's fine.
It is unbelievable
We
what's
have
happening here to
renter's
neighbors.
insurance.
Your parents' house is still standing. You had a hose. You're doing what you can.
I mean, I have a hose. It doesn't compare to these beloved neighbors that I've known. I was born and raised in this house, and I live in Sierra Madre, and I'm now 62 years old.
Exactly,
This
Val.
is the
That's
house I was
very,
born and raised in, and
very
I
smart
never moved
thinking.
out of Pasadena,
And
Sierra Madre,
people,
Hastings
like
Ranch.
Val just said,
I know people
she has a
zipping in and out
suitcase.
of our coverage as we speak to you. Let's have
And
our
you're probably
producer
thinking
run
suitcases are
right
expensive.
over there to where we were and what's happening across the street.
Goodwill
You see
sells
that on your
suitcases
neighbors'
every single day.
houses. What are you thinking?
Somewhere inside your local Goodwill store,
Words to even
There's a
describe
bunch
how
of
heartbreaking-
suitcases.
How heartbreaking.
Buy one that's big enough
That's a life. That's your entire life.
and
You
go buy some bug
you don't
spray.
want that back.
Spray it, clean it and make sure there's no bugs or anything in it.
Alive.
And then
It
put
seems like most everybody
a
has
week's worth of your
evacuated.
meds.
I've lived in the
Some
general area
Tylenol or
for
Advil or
10 years. I've
whatever
never
painkiller
seen
that
this
you
like
take.
this, have
Some Tums,
I remember probably 11 years
an
ago,
extra
can you
phone
go up
charger
there?
for your phone,
The wind is hurting my eyes. I don't have glasses.
a pen and a pen and a notebook.
There was
So you can write stuff down. Have a list of your meds.
but there were no fires. So
Take all your important documents, put them in a safety deposit box in a bank.
No, I'd never seen a firestorm like this. This is like Paradise, California. If you drive through Hastings Ranch and you go up to the top, it's an inferno.
In this community,
And also,
Hastings, it is so tight knit. We just got finished with the.
I know it's gonna seem stupid to say this,
It's a tradition that
but
is lovely, and we just
wet
starting a new
wipes,
year, 2025,
some toilet paper,
and how terrible.
a little thing of mouthwash. You can buy a thing of mouthwash from the Dollar Tree.
Worst thing you could wish in someone's life aside from death.
You're here now. When do you leave? Do you stay all night? What's your plan?
My brother
And
is
also,
somewhere
in that suitcase,
backyard.
write down the names, addresses, and phone number of your friends and family, just in case your phone gets damaged or you lose your phone. You still have people's telephone numbers.
The fire closed. I thought potentially you were firefighters, so I was going to share my story so that this
Or
house
basically,
saved if necessary.
don't live in areas like this.
Well, let me tell you, it does help for people.
This happens every year.
To know what's happening.
What happens every year in Florida? Hurricanes. What happens every year in the Midwest? Tornadoes.
My name is Lynn Levin Guzman. This is the Levin household.
I lived through a tornado in 1995.
I deal with fire all the time and firefighters.
And that's part of the reason why I don't live where I grew up.
This situation here, luckily people got out because those are my patients.
But everybody's like, oh my God, how can you live in Phoenix? It's so hot.
Hope everyone's okay. Lynn, I'm going to let you get back to it. And for you taking the time, we thank you. To your parents.
I can go outside in the summertime when it's 120.
That was Lynn. God bless you as well. Watch your footing there.
And I'm not going to lose body parts. But say you live in the Midwest where it's freezing temperatures. Go outside without gloves on or no shoes on. You'll start getting frostbite.
Anything she can. We say that as the embers are blowing directly on us here in the Upper Hastings Ranch community. It is really tough to see.
But I'm the dumb one that lives here.
It is just about midnight.
Because I hear it all the time. How can you live in Phoenix? It's so hot.
Forecasted to continue through at least 5 a.m.
Well, how can you live in somewhere where every year you have to wonder if you're going to have a home left? If a hurricane's going to flood your house out? If a tornado's going to tear your house to shreds? I ain't got to worry about that, guys.
With a rash of fires going through California,
but
she's sitting there doing the best she can.
I'm the dumb one.
Home. Tell me, as best you can, what is the address, just in case a firefighter is watching this broadcast and might be able to get a unit up there. What is the address of that house?
Yeah, it is 1470 Rivera, 1470 Rivera. So we're here on the 1400 block, and you have those.
Look at all that stuff around that house.
She's here, her brother's here,
All those
and you
plants.
know that there's other,
Because
let me tell you,
they're
the majority of the homes in this
pretty.
community are still standing.
No, don't have shit like that around your
Some that
house.
are still standing, but the night is young.
You shouldn't have anything that can catch fire within 6 feet of your house.
Does bring up a great point that we should talk a whole lot more about, and that is the fact that so many people are now uninsured when it comes to a fire. Mark, we'll check back with you in Hastings Ranch in a little while. We want to get to Leanne Suter, but as we throw to Leanne, quickly, if you could bear with me, I want to talk about the new evacuation orders because of the Eaton.
And also another thing to put in your suitcase.
Right now, the area north of Orange Grove, Rosemead
Duct tape.
Boulevard, east of Lake Avenue, and west of
Plastic
Michelanda
bags.
Avenue. So again, north of Orange Grove, Rosemead, east of Lake
Why?
Avenue, and west of Michelanda.
Say you got to get out of your house
That is getting towards the heart
and
of
it's
Pasadena,
pouring
a
rain.
very populous area. Folks in Pasadena, be ready and get ready to get
You
out
get
of
your
there. So
feet
Leanne,
wet,
how's
your
it
shoes
looking
are
where you
soaked.
in Altadena?
It's cold out.
David, this firefight continues.
Now you're miserable because your feet are cold and wet. Well, if you can put your feet into some like Walmart shopping bags and then put your shoes on, your feet stay dry.
So this fire continuing just to push south from
Go to
south. But
any hardware store,
Pasadena for more than 2 decades.
hell, even probably Walmart, and get the big 55-gallon trash bags.
A fire like this,
You
I
can
have
make a
never
poncho
seen
out of
this kind
those
fire
real quick.
evacuation warning going that far south, all the way to the freeway from the foothills. That has never happened in more than 2 decades that I've been here.
You guys should see all of the shit
It's a lot of smoke today.
that me and my wife
Had to
take
very
whenever
concerned. It's
we
very
take a
easy
trip
to
anywhere.
jump the freeway and then and that was
Even if we're going to be
I've
back home
never
in like
seen that happen. Doesn't mean it
24 hours.
But it's so scary for so many people. One other fact I want to touch on: officials now just updating the numbers in terms of how big. the
Yeah, Val, that
fire
is
now
freaking
stands
crazy.
at 1,000
And I
acres.
guarantee if you went back on YouTube to this time last year,
Midnight tonight, we have 1,000
you would
acres
see
that are
stories about
burning.
fires in
I'm
California
live right now
again.
in Altadena and Washington. Crews have been working hard. They just finished up right here. When we first arrived,
See, it's just stupid to continually live in an area
they were able to knock that down. It does
that
appear
you
they've
could
been able
die
to
in.
At least save the McDonald's. That didn't suffer. From the outside, it doesn't appear too much damage, but I'm sure on the inside it does.
To me, it's
We're
just
gonna walk along
the
Washington.
biggest form
My
of
photographer
stupidity.
today has been doing
Like,
a
well, I was
tremendous
born and raised here.
As we come around
This
the
is what I
building,
know.
here,
But every year we have
I mean, it has really picked
this
up.
shit
How
happen.
strong it is again, these gusts. Earlier today, we were
Why?
with extremely powerful gusts up to like 80 to 85 miles per hour. We're not that
Or,
strong right
you
now,
know,
but we are definitely picking up again. We're just
every
walking
year we
down
have a
because I see
tornado.
another building now on fire. We're in a
Why
business
live
area
there?
along Washington. There's
Every
a
year
lot of
we have a
medical,
hurricane.
facilities here.
Why live
You
there?
can see that one is fully engulfed in flames here. Just down the street
It
is where we
makes
saw the Ultimate
no sense.
medical building. That is a total loss, completely up in flames. And then behind here, I believe, is a wellness center, and it looks like
And I know the homeowner's insurance there has got to be super high.
the business is just hopscotching, just like the homes. It could be a couple right next to each other. It could be one.
Oh, you live in a fire-prone area
on a block away.
and you
just
want fire
never know
insurance
what is
for your
gonna be on
house.
fire. And
Well, then you're going to pay out the ass for
we
it.
walk back behind these things here. It does appear that this might be this wellness center on fire. Crews trying to do what they can to stop the flames and save as many of these businesses. I'm just astounded by this whole
And
thing.
also,
I just have never seen in all my years.
you can go to any hardware store,
I've never seen a fire like
buy
this in my life.
reflective clothing,
And we've covered a lot of fires.
buy you a high visibility vest
I can say the same
to
thing
put on.
about the Pacific Palisades. These winds.
Because you see how dark it is there.
These fires and the flames out of
I
control.
guarantee you
I
that
can
there's
see
a
now.
big ass light
We can see
on that camera. But if that cameraman wasn't there and that big ass light wasn't there,
businesses back in here. So the wellness
all
center
of the power's out.
at risk is not.
So, you know,
Appears to be up on a hill up in there.
having a high visibility vest,
You can just see the tremendous amount.
you could probably buy one for like $5 at Harbor Freight.
In there, so this firefight, you can hear it, David, as we're standing. Wow.
And also, something like this happens, and you have to evacuate.
So concerned, you know, when we talk about this fire, because it started so far.
Come up with a plan
The hills, the foothills here
on where you're going to evacuate. And don't just say, well, I'm going to go to my daughter's house. What if she has to evacuate also?
That you don't traditionally think of as being at fire risk, and you're not technically classified as being in a wildfire area, but all bets are off in this. I mean, this has completely changed everything. These winds, the Santa Ana winds and the gusts.
And yes, I'm still sick.
Areas that
My wife is still sick.
haven't traditionally burned, and putting so many more people at risk. And I'm just stunned. I mean, I truly am, David, just stunned. In the 25 years that I've lived here in Pasadena, I've never seen this.
Right.
And it's amazing.
I second that too.
And trust me, it sucks being sick.
As you said, it's not wildfire territory. You don't see massive fires go through those densely populated communities that don't have a lot of brush and trees. And yet they are being evacuated right now. And it shows the power of those winds. You said it. I was thinking it all day. I didn't want to say it, but since you went there, I agree with you. I can't think of another fire that has had this kind of a devastating and violent personality that this fire in the last day or so has been. The character of this fire is absolutely frightening, and it's overpowering everything and everybody that comes in its path.
Absolutely. It really is terrifying when you think about it. And as you mentioned, I mean, kind of what I said, if it were to get to the point that it hits the 210 freeway and goes south, you're in an area that is, flat land, for lack of a better word. You know, there's no hills, there's no brush. You don't have to worry. There's no brush clearance anywhere around that area in terms of what's required. They aren't up in a traditional and even a classified wildfire area. That is, down in the city per se. And so that's what is so amazing to me, and obviously so concerning, certainly concerning for all of the fire officials. I mean, it's terrifying to think of how far this could go. You could probably say the same thing. I know you could say the same thing for the fire in the Pacific Palisades. Who knows how far this can go with the winds? I mean, it really is the Santa Ana winds that are fueling all these fires and fueling all the flames. And this is a perfect example. As you see this one, this building going up in flames behind us. I'm not sure what building that is. If I look on the map trying to figure out what that is, but another example of just there's nothing they can do. I mean, they can't stop it once it gets into these large buildings and it's off and running. So it just, it's just amazing.
The morning is going to be dreadful, undoubtedly, when we see the entire toll.
And you see how dirty her mask is getting?
Another good point. It's
imagine if she didn't have that. That's the SN95 map.
Orders because of the densely populated, the downtown areas of these big cities are actually being evacuated for what is, in essence, a wildfire. So there is a map of the three fires that we are dealing with right now. The Eaton fire, where Leanne Suter is right now. And then the Hearst fire is the newer one where Nico is, and that is brand new, and evacuation orders are underway there. And then down in the Palisades area, that has been that tremendous fire that we have been covering since 10 o'clock this morning that has spread wide from Malibu through the Palisades all the way to Santa Monica, and new evacuation orders going out in those communities. Colleen, this has been an incredible day, and I fear that tomorrow will be unprecedented.
It's unbelievable to hear Leanne Suter talk about being here for 25 years and never seeing a fire be so unbelievably ferocious. And, I was looking at our emails. That fire, Eaton fire, we started getting alerted at 6:36 p.m. That's when we started being alerted that we should be watching the Eaton fire, and that has exploded. Again, we've been watching the Palisades fire. It was unbelievable driving into work today.
I'm going to come right out and say it right now.
Over the South Bay. And a lot of people saw images from LAX.
I'm betting
We know
these fires are
Jory
human
Rand has been
caused.
there all day long, tracking this fire, talking about trying to go into different areas. Jory, we're going to be getting to you, but you showed some video a couple hours ago that was almost haunting of Sunset Boulevard. So many of us drive that artery. It is so heavily congested, and to see all the images of the fire and on the side of the Sunset Boulevard and in the middle, and having to kind of dodge some debris that was in the middle. Those are haunting images, what you have been seeing all evening long. Are you there?
Yeah, such an iconic thoroughfare too, and to see what it has been.
And see, he has goggles
what it has
on.
become tonight, and just a charred
People, you
hustle
can buy
on
all
the
this
side
stuff
of
cheap.
Sunset Boulevard. And I think we're starting to get into the point here. We're still at Amalfi and Sunset, where things might get pretty serious pretty quickly. For the first time in the last couple of minutes, we have seen some large embers made their way down into this neighborhood. So we can see those homes burning in the distance. That's up on Chautauqua in the Palisades
And also,
Village area.
you have a house
That entire road
that has
been
gutters on
decimated.
it.
I just went down and checked behind that tree line, and there's a spot
Clean
where
your
I can duck
gutters
into.
out.
We can't get our cameras to. And the entire line, about a half mile from
You
that
should make
home
sure
you can
your
see
gutters are
burning down
cleaned
to the
on a
south,
monthly basis.
is gone. Do you guys still have me? Okay, I apologize. I thought I heard another reporter there. I just want to make sure. So that entire line from where you see that house burning to the south, about a half a mile stretch, all of those homes are gone. Rustic Creek is down below those homes. Between our position right here and where you see the homes on Chautauqua burning, below that, that's Rustic Creek. There are a pair of homes that are burning down there, and that is of major concern because until now, that has pretty much remained intact. If the winds continue to carry the flames through Rustic Creek, and bring it up to these homes, that will be a major catastrophe. Up above where we stand, up north on Amalfi, there is an
I
entire
haven't
neighborhood up
heard
there into Riviera. It's the
anything
neighborhood
like
on the
that,
north
but
side of Sunset. Riviera Country Club is
I
on the south
wouldn't
side.
put
The
it
entire neighborhood
past
of Riviera is at risk.
anything.
What I think is happening is that it's burning in the wildland up above that neighborhood, and the winds continue to pummel south and west. So that is
Now, I know everybody's thinking,
embers.
oh, it's
our way.
2025.
This
Trump's
area
going to be
has yet been
president.
untouched. The smoke
Everything's
has
gonna
seemed
be
shift a little
fine.
bit, where before we could kind of seen the line of delineation where the flame and the
I
smoke
bet
was, and it was being
2025 is
carried
going
to
to
the
be
west
one
and
hell of
down
a
to the
year.
Pacific Ocean. Now this whole area is kind of ensconced, in just a globe of smoke. It is coming towards this area. The wind is at my back right now, which means it is pushing to the east, the opposite direction of where we would expect this to travel in a Santa Ana wind event, which is coming from the mountains coming down towards the Pacific. This is now blowing in the opposite direction, and we'll see how long it takes for these flames to march up this hill. We thought hours ago, the LAPD and LAFD both thought that this area would be in trouble by this hour. In fact, they drove through several hours ago announcing, you need to get out of here and get to the 405. That's about 4 miles to our east. They thought this entire area was at risk, at imminent risk of burning. That didn't happen. For some reason, the eastward progress of this fire had stalled. That might now be coming to an end as the smoke thickens here in this location. And again, we saw a large chunk, about a golf ball sized chunk of ember, land in the middle of Sunset and just explode into sparks and more embers. A couple were being carried across the street here into some brush on these homes on this side of the street. These are at high risk of catching in an instant. If an ember hits in the wrong spot at the wrong time, fueled by this
And
wind,
see, look at all that shit
give it
that's
its
around
life.
those
It's the same thing as
houses.
if you're trying
It's
to
like
get
what
a,
I was
a campfire. to
Everybody
get
wants
going
all this
again,
vegetation
put some
around
air
their
on it,
house.
and you get it going. Well, this has a constant source of oxygen and wind
No.
and power to build up the smallest spark into a conflagration really quickly. And so
Rocks
we've
don't.
seen LAPD and sheriff
And
move
everybody
through this
talks
area,
about
keeping an eye on things.
every time I do
things
any
could
kind of
turn
a driving and
pretty
talking
serious
video.
pretty quickly.
How?
You can
Where's
kinda
the
see
grass
from this
at? Where's the
angle,
vegetation
as
at?
we point
Why is it
kind
all
of
rock?
north, how thick the
Well,
smoke
rock
is in an
don't
area where there are
burn.
no flames. It shouldn't be this thick from this location in terms of smoke because we are still
Even if I owned my own
half
house,
mile away from
right
the
here in the
flames, but
Phoenix
it's now
Valley,
beginning to come this way, and that's bad news. There are
I wouldn't have
hundreds of
anything that was
homes both
burnable
north
within
and south
25
of
feet.
Sunset here on Amalfi, and you talk about you go further east up into the Riviera neighborhood. This could be bad. And again, you talk about what it's going to look like when the sun comes up. We know that Chautauqua has been decimated. I don't know how far west that goes, but given where it was coming from when we started at Temescal, that's about a half a mile west of Chautauqua. That's where the flames started when we got here at about 4 o'clock today, and we've seen it march east. So you have to imagine that Chautauqua is just the eastern front, and everything west has seen a similar fate, but until the sun comes up, we just won't know. But things are in bad shape there, and we'll see how they stand here on Amalfi as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Frightening thought that things could be headed your way, Jory. Keep an eye on that. We're going to check back with you, and hopefully that is help coming to that community soon.
I agree with you. Again, you know,
And yet people
Jory's
always
been out there since
bitch
4
about
o'clock. You can hear
taxes.
emergency crews. We also have been checking in with Mark Robles.
What do you think
Mark
pays the
was in
salary
evacuation
of
warning area of his
all
home,
the
but he
emergency
now is still
personnel?
at Upper Hastings Ranch.
Your tax dollars.
Wow. Wow, Mark. All I can tell you is that you are in you're sort of in the eye of the storm there.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful. I said earlier, a majority of the homes up here, if you're watching, if you evacuated, a majority of the homes here are still standing, but there are at least a half dozen that we've seen that are a complete loss. This is at Pear Orchard and Rivera, and then right off to our left, this tree now has just gone up, so I'm a bit concerned about this home as well, that is on the corner of Pear Orchard.
See, look at all that
back to the left. This
vegetation.
home, just a total loss. They're still trying to douse it with water, I suppose, to reduce the flame and the embers that go to other homes here in the community. So this is a higher elevation street location here in the Upper Hastings Ranch area. For those not familiar with the area, it is on the east side of Pasadena, just before you reach Sierra Madre off of Sierra Madre Boulevard. We got big embers here, big embers. Okay. I want to make sure my photographer's all right. These firefighters there stretch pretty thin. I got to tell you, I don't think I've seen Pasadena fire, but mostly LA County fire that's here on the scene. We saw engine 13, and then just here by us is engine 20. They told us to be careful because there are wires that are down from this power pole just across from us, so we're keeping our distance just a bit. But the wind continues. The heartbreak is going to be felt throughout this community. Again, at least a half dozen that we have seen, but this is a large community. We know for sure there's going to be other homes lost from this fire. And look at that tree just go up right there. And the embers, that is the real concern. The embers that now go further down
And
the
see,
block,
that's going to cause
closer
other
to Pasadena
fires
High School, potentially
because of that
catching
damn
other
tree.
areas, other homes on fire. Again, I did hear from Dallas Rains through our producer that these winds, albeit very strong, are not as strong as we saw in 2011. I was not living in the area then, but wow, for me, these are the strongest winds that I've seen in the Pasadena area in the last decade, and the warning was there. We knew with a few days upcoming that this risk was here for the fire danger, the red flags, and to see this actually come to fruition is just really difficult. Haven't seen many residents. Earlier during the last 20 minutes or so, we spoke to a woman who was staying behind at her parents' house using a garden hose, doing what she could. She's one of the very few people that we've seen. Most everyone, thank goodness, it seems like they've gotten out. Again, this is Rivera Drive at Pear Orchard here in Pasadena, the Upper Hastings Ranch community. A lot of wind and a lot of embers. Colleen and Mark, we'll send it back to you.
I'm just looking at these images behind you, Mark. We're going to definitely stay with you for this live report. The winds look so strong, and you're okay there. You don't feel that you are being threatened right now?
You know, you certainly are watching your surroundings. We're watching these the direction that if we need to go, we can. There are exit routes. It's not one way in, one way out. Here in Upper Hastings Ranch, there actually are multiple streets that you can drive through to get out of here. So that is a good factor on our side. I do see some more resources coming, but it's not even a full fire engine here across the way. This is just a white truck that has arrived.
Bear with us right now because we're trying
watching our surroundings when we get to this area.
Go ahead, Mark.
We touched base with firefighters to make sure that we're okay. Yeah, they alerted us to the downed water. So simply to ask Colleen's question, this is what we do. We're here. We're in the mix of it. We certainly watch our surroundings. We make sure we have an exit route, and we just watch the conditions as they develop.
Well, we certainly appreciate your live reports. And
look, right now they're going to cut. They're going to come get this tree right now. They're bringing over a hose to get this tree put out as we speak. I don't know if they just noticed it, but they got a hose now. They're bringing it up here on the backside, and maybe they're going to try to put this out. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you can. I was just going to talk about. You can just see the embers. It's just raining embers.
It's throwing out so many embers that they got to get that tree under control. I mean, it's about to burn itself out anyway, but still, they're doing everything they can to fight this fire and do what they can. I mean, if they could tame some of these flames, maybe it does save a house somewhere down the line. Obviously, the homes that they're putting the water on aren't going to be saved. Those are gone. But perhaps if they could subdue these embers and look at them, just they're all over the place. Incredible.
Yep.
And in this situation, you always wonder, what do you grab? What can you grab so quickly? Again, I was in the evacuation warning area. And so for us, I mean, there were hundreds of homes in more danger than me. But still, I'm in a hurry. I'm grabbing suitcases. I'm grabbing important documents and anything that I would need, urgently if I couldn't come back, knowing that these winds are so ferocious that they can travel a mile or so to our home. Again, I'm in the Pasadena area as well. But you wonder what these people got. You wonder how much were they able to grab before they left.
Your important documents.
I got up here, several hours after the fire started. We have not
safety
seen,
deposit box in a bank
at all. It does seem like most people got out. You just wonder how quickly, what did that evacuation look like, and how much did people get? At least at this home across from us here on Rivera Drive that you're watching that's burning. Look out, we got a fire engine here. This is LA County Fire Engine 93 passing. I was going to mention the house there that's across from us here on Rivera, 1555 Rivera. Again, hate to say that, it's a total loss, but a car in the driveway. So you wonder, there's always that concern. What vehicles do you take? Which cars are pointed out? And you leave as fast as you can. You just wonder what it was like hours ago as this fire started moving east. Because again, we are east of Eaton Canyon where it started. We'll send it back to you.
Yeah.
This is
thank you so much
insane.
for that live report. Again, we're watching your devastating images right now. We're going to keep checking back in with you. I know we're also getting some assistance from Cassandra Gutierrez from our sister station KSFM TV in Fresno. And Cassandra, you had such an incredible interview about an hour ago from somebody who
she has just
she
the
was going
cheap
to
science
evacuate, but
goggles
she's
on.
lived there since 2006 and worked so
You
hard
can
to
buy
keep
those
her
at any
home. So
hardware store.
you're in Sylmar right now. What are you seeing, and are you seeing people evacuate now?
Colleen, that's right. Just to go back to that interview, she had moved here with her husband. She lost her husband during COVID just 4 years ago. So she's already lost so much. And I spoke to some of her neighbors who say her and her husband were some of the very first people that moved into this neighborhood right here in Sylmar. Taking a look right now at that fire burning along the hillside. You can see those flames blazing up right now. At this time, you can
And
also
see
those
vegetation
flames. They are
everywhere.
extremely erratic. You don't know where they're coming from, where they're going, but you do see the fire
I will
burning
never
along the
understand
hillside right now.
the
I am on
desire
Los
to have your
Olivos
house
and
covered in
Roxford
fucking
in Sylmar,
trees and
right on the
bushes
edge
and
of the
plants and
hillside in
stuff.
this neighborhood that is fairly new. I'm actually standing here with some residents that have lived here since 2017. They are the Merino family, and I am accompanied by Emily, Carolina, and Alyssa, and they have been packing their stuff, getting ready to evacuate for now. They are hanging out right now and kind of on standby to see whether or not they're heading out. Carolina, tell me a little bit about what you've been experiencing so far. You've lived here less than 10 years. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Yes, there was a fire, I believe it was 2019, like the same location, but the winds were not as strong, so it wasn't as scary. Right now, it's just very unknown. We had friends up on Glen Oaks that were evacuated, so we're really just on standby, just packed a few things like medicine, important documents, and that's, our dog and the family. That's what matters the most.
the most important thing.
Yeah.
What's your heart feeling right now when you see those flames along the hillside in your community that we talked about? Everyone worked so hard for these homes.
It's scary with like the other fires that are happening. It's just the unknown. That's the scary part.
And we have here alongside with your daughters, Alyssa and Emily. Do one of you ladies want to share something about what's going on here? You guys are kind of coming together at this hour right now, standing strong for each other, I'm sure. Emily, did you want to share anything?
Sure. I think it's very scary, and like I'm just really scared about everything that can happen because last time when it happened, there was just a lot of smoke and stuff. So I'm scared.
Emily, what means the most to you right now when you think of the stuff that you're packing in case you have to go?
My family, and also like just a lot of like things that can help. Like I don't know, just like a lot of my family and my dog.
Your dog, I'm sure your dog, a lot of people here in the neighborhood with furry friends. It's a tight-knit neighborhood. Do you have friends, Alyssa, in this neighborhood? What are you thinking right now? What's on your heart right now, Alyssa?
I pray for those who are suffering right now and who are hurting in this fire. The most people I value is my family and my dog.
Carolina,
Yeah.
you just heard your daughter speak some very strong words. What are your thoughts right now, hearing the strength and witnessing that strength from your daughters?
It's amazing. And I think the community here at Los Olivos too, you know, like my neighbor called me and told me about the fire. And then my other neighbors started going like to these houses. I started knocking on some of the doors to alert the neighbors just because you don't know how quickly this can escalate. But I'm just thankful right now. It's, you know, the winds are very strong, but it seems a little peaceful here. So hopefully it will stay like that. And I pray for all the families that are hurting at the moment.
And those families, meaning those other ones that have
The
already
ones from like the other fires, Palisades, and you know the one in Altadena. It's very scary.
It really is. And when you talk
Man.
about this tight knit community, can you give us a description of some of the people, some of your neighbors? We talked to Elizabeth
And people,
earlier today,
because
who
this
mentioned
is
she was one of the
California,
very first community members to move in.
those are $1
This
million
feels like a community
houses.
that was almost built from scratch, and to see it so close to fire right now.
Yeah, I know a lot of
And if you
the
think I'm
families
joking,
here are homeowners who have been here since
go on to
the
Zillow.
since
Do a
the
search
houses were
for
built. And
a
I know they
4-bedroom,
mean a lot
2-bath
to them.
house in these areas.
And we talked about close calls in the past. Can you just take me back?
These
I
are
know
$1
you
million
mentioned a little bit ago,
houses.
what are those other fires?
I believe
I
there was
know
one in 2008. We lived
most
in
of you
Foothill
live
at that, like then, on Foothill.
where
And
$1 million you
my
could probably buy
close
the whole
friend
damn
lost her
town.
house. That's
But in these
like you know,
areas,
she lived where people recently got evacuated.
$1
So
million
just
is
what she
nothing for a
went through
house.
comes to mind, and that's the scary part.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Our hearts
I
are
mean,
with
hell,
you
even
guys.
here in
Alyssa, Emily, is there anything that you
the
guys want to
Phoenix
share
area,
right now at this hour?
we
Alyssa?
have multi-million dollar houses all over the place
Just
here.
I hope people who are
The
in need
average
right now, I
4-bedroom,
hope they
2-bath
stay
house,
safe.
2-car garage house here in the
I
Phoenix
hope that all
Valley
of our homes are good
is
and
a
that
$500,000 house.
Alyssa, that all of us stay safe.
And your friends too. I'm sure you guys have friends that live in this area.
I know
Talk a
it
little
seems
bit about how you
crazy
guys
to
are leaders in the
everybody.
community too.
It seems
Do
crazy
you
that
want to
me
share
and my
about
wife
that, or
spend
just you've lived here for a while, right?
like $1,900 a month
No,
for
just
rent.
you know, we all like called each other to make sure that everyone was aware of the situation. So that means a lot.
My
to
daughter's
us.
house,
And really quickly, did you try calling 911? We heard those lines were
if
backed up earlier.
Yeah.
she bought it,
They were backed up. When you went out on the road
it
a
would be
little bit ago, what did you
$400,000
experience on the road?
We just
for a
noticed
shitty
there
ass
was like the
house.
traffic because they've closed off like the 5 freeway. But other than
No
that,
pool,
it seemed
no
calm.
anything.
And then
A
when you're
1.5
further
car
out,
garage.
like the fire looks bigger than this. So
You know, a shitty ass
And
kitchen,
last question, what are you guys holding on to right now
$400,000
to keep you
house.
guys strong?
each other.
Family, your neighbors.
Yeah.
Sure. Anything else, Marino family, that you guys would like to share?
No, we just hope the winds calm down. That's what it's making it really scary. And I pray for all the firefighters, everyone that's putting their life on the line.
Okay, ladies, anything else?
Like she said, I pray for everyone who is hurting right now, for firefighters, and for everyone to stay strong.
Emily.
I pray for all the people who have lost their homes and in their fires and like not having a home as well.
Thank you so much, the Merino family.
We don't know
here in
what
Sylmar.
we're doing
And once again,
right
these
now.
gusty winds, the worst of it. We are hearing from 10 p.m. to 5 in the morning. We're right in
We
the
might
middle
end
of it.
up
I'm gonna
moving
send it
back to
you guys
Phoenix.
in the studio.
We have no idea.
Sandra, first of all, I want to make a point that we're showing a distant shot from the hillside. The smoke is horizontal, showing the strength of the winds. I'm sure you're feeling those winds. Have you seen?
I want to stay
You've got a great shot
in the
of it
East
there
Mesa
as well,
area,
so you can see the smoke going horizontal. It
but you
shows
have
our
to
viewers
go
how powerful the
where
winds
the
continue
jobs
to
are.
be all
And
over
my
Southern
wife
California,
is
but you're getting
very,
hit with them pretty
very
hard
burned out
in Sylmar
on
right now. Have you seen
working in the
many fire units
healthcare
canvassed
industry.
throughout that neighborhood at all?
Just flat out burned out.
At this
Because she's
specific
been doing it
neighborhood,
for
we have
like
not
12
seen
years
any
now.
fire units, but we have seen them on the main road on Roxford, trying to get
But
to
wherever
the
she
hillside
finds a
exactly where
job,
that
you
fire
know,
is
once the
burning.
lease is
There
up here,
is a sense,
we'll
it's
be
it's
moving.
difficult to say this, a sense of ease almost in this neighborhood. You can
Our
tell
lease is up
cars are
here
packed and ready to go, but many of these neighborhoods are
January
actually staying. But several have
next year.
evacuated from earlier today. But like
We
we
just
just heard from
re-signed
the
the lease.
Merino family, they have been through this before. They're ready to go in case they have to go. But you mentioned those winds, erratic. We don't know where they're coming from, and they are kind of coming from all over the place when you are standing in it right now, and you can see that smoke blowing off of the hillside right now.
I wish that I could
All
help
right,
out
thank you
with
for that
money,
report, and we're going to check back
but
with you in a little while to see the progress of that fire.
I still
Let's go
have
to
yet to
Michelle
get my
Fisher in
channel
Malibu,
monetized.
which is just one of the many fronts in the Palisades fire. And Michelle, how's it going out there?
Well, last time we checked in with you guys, David, there were 2 homes behind me here on this stretch of Pacific Coast Highway really up in flames. An update since we last spoke, one of those homes has completely collapsed. The other one just a shell of itself now. Also, fire crews for the past 45 minutes or so have been working on the home that's just to the left of those other 2 properties, trying to prevent it from catching fire. But you can see it is really flaring up right now, even though they are still trying to get water on that fire. It looks like their efforts might not work out in their favor right now because the winds are just too out of control and just really
But
promoting
we
these
were
flames to
looking
continue
at
to flare
a
up, which is unfortunate.
3-bedroom,
Now,
2-bath
not only is
place
this line of homes here along Pacific Coast Highway, this is
that's
the
actually cheaper than what
20,700 block. Not only the
the
homes
rent
burned,
is
but there's also a line
here.
of vehicles too that we can imagine might burn and be at risk of catching fire. Now, we do want to take a look at some video from earlier that I had been trying to get in. This
Look at
video
that.
you're going to see, we actually captured this as we were driving along this stretch of Pacific Coast Highway from Palisades to Malibu a bit earlier, and you could just see the devastating images as we drove through. Looked like we were driving through a war zone, just completely apocalyptic, very scary images. And we know that daylight is going to really give us a better look. And this is going to be extensive damages, not only here in Malibu and nearby Palisades, but also in multiple communities across Southern California. Really devastating for these homeowners, many who are watching our coverage tonight and seeing that their homes or their neighbors' homes have been burned. Now, I did mention earlier, too, some alerts for evacuations, and I went and double-checked the alerts that I got on my phone, and it did say that there are some evacuations for Malibu west of Las Flores Canyon
That
Road.
is just
But it seems like in this area,
insane.
people certainly have already evacuated. I know power is out to many of those homes, which is a good thing because we are seeing some power lines that are falling over into these homes that are burning, power lines that have been just burned themselves. So really a difficult situation. And we also did just see about 6 or so Orange County fire trucks that made their way into this area. So as the fire continues to move in all various different directions tonight, it seems that there are a certain number of homes and properties along this stretch of Pacific Coast Highway going deeper into Malibu that are burning right now. Fire crews trying to get a control on it. But as we've seen in other communities, sometimes those efforts just don't work out because the conditions out here are just too difficult for these fire crews despite their best efforts. We're live in Malibu right now. I'll go ahead and toss it back to you guys in the studio.
What an incredible sight you showed us.
And
just
there's
as a
no
reminder,
possible way to
those
build any
homes
kind
over
of
your
fire
right-hand
line
shoulder, those
or
are beachfront
anything out
homes
there
that have gone
when
up.
you've
You and
got
I
houses
mentioned that the last
everywhere.
report as well. And that video that you just showed, that's off of PCH, right? Are those beachfront as well?
Those were all beachfront properties. So a
Oh
lot
my
of our
God.
reporting
So
tonight, David, had been kind of focused on the other direction, where we were
multi-million
looking
dollar
at homes in
houses
the hills burning.
gone.
So it was really a surprise for me as well. And we had seen a bit of brush, some fires on bushes that were on the beachfront areas. But as we tried to make our way closer towards Malibu, it was really a shock to me to see home after home after home consecutively, beachfront properties just burned, an entire row of homes, as you saw in that video. So I'm not sure, because I know much of our attention earlier was kind of focused in a different area.
But
in
yet I'm
Palisades,
the
so it's
dumb
really
one that
unclear
lives
what
in
happened
Phoenix,
there. If
Arizona.
it was just one home that sparked, and then because of the proximity and how close they are to each other, perhaps it just meant
I
all
get
of the
told
other
that
homes side
all
by
the
side
time.
burned.
How can
But it
you
was
live in
homes, it was
Phoenix? It's
vehicles,
so hot.
down power lines in the middle of the street. It was just really
Because
something that
shit
I was
like
not
this
prepared to see,
doesn't
but
happen.
something again that I think when the sun comes up and we get a better look, it is going to be just devastating to see complete entire portions of this block burned down to the ground. Complete losses for these homes. Just devastating for the homeowners here.
Michelle, that's exactly what we were thinking. We were looking at your video from earlier, and then we keep saying the structures over her right shoulder, those are along the beach. I mean, this is obvious. It's just, it seems so unusual for these beachfront homes to burn from a wildfire. That's where it really defies our logic in the situation. But boy, oh boy, those winds, just not to underestimate them. Thank you so much for that live report. Of course, we will be checking back in with you later on. But let's take a look at this video. It's just sent to us from one of our viewers, Ronald. We want to say thank you. It shows the flames of the Palisades fire from a flight from well, I guess this is we're just finding out this is basically our view from the sky. He was in a flight from Toronto to Los Angeles. And if you can safely take video, this is one of those things that we always ask. Try to do so safely. But boy, we just want to take a look at this video from the air, because we haven't been able to see.
Look at that. It looks like a war
Has been
zone.
grounded because of the strong winds. So just to take a look at this fire it's remarkable.
And look how close it is to the
If you can't share
city.
any videos with us, if you see a fire or if you see a weather event happening or any sort of breaking news, please scan the QR code on your screen. Go to abc7.com/eyewitness.
Yes, but
and we
people,
certainly might be showing you videos here on Eyewitness News.
All right, let's get to Dallas Range right now and get an update on the weather and how
You
powerful
gotta
those
shoot a
winds are tonight,
video.
Dallas.
That's right, David. And they're not going to abate at all. We're going to see very powerful winds tonight. They actually
Practice
increase
prior
a
to
little
shooting
bit
a
in
video.
intensity as we approach sunrise due to the cold air drainage coming in from the high desert.
So many
these
people
are
want to
strong
film in
offshore
vertical.
winds. And as Colleen was mentioning a few minutes ago, yes, these homes
Horizontal.
unfortunately, are burned right on the ocean. You would think, well, it's always humid there. We have the marine layer, but not in a
Sideways.
Santa Ana wind.
Horizontal.
The Santa Ana winds blow out of the north and northeast, so they're dry and they blow all the way out to sea. So as the fire was started this morning in the canyons above Malibu, there's nothing really to stop it with that kind of velocity in the winds. And of course,
see so
all
many
the canyon
people
areas, Altadena, they're in a
that
very strong event. This
have
fire
an
was
epic
started
video
in
to
the
show.
Sylmar area, right in the
But how they
flow of
filmed
those strong
sucks.
canyon winds. Now down in Orange County, we haven't seen any fires today. And out in the IE, we've been very fortunate. We haven't seen any fires started in that area. There's a good shot there for you. We'll slide on up the valley there into the Sylmar area. And as you can see on our fire demonstration, when the winds are 40, 50, 60, and even gusts to hurricane velocity and even greater, all of these embers are flown out to the south and southwest, and that's why it will skip and jump so quickly when you're looking at these types of fire situations. Very dangerous out there tonight for all of our friends and viewers out there in the Altadena area. And there's the 210 freeway. It can happen. In 2011, we had very similar winds, actually a little stronger in Pasadena, but no one started a fire. So we didn't have this awful situation that we have tonight. There are some of the wind conditions that you're seeing. Santa Clarita 27, Magic Mountain this morning had winds of 87 miles per hour. Coming out of the canyons, they're strong in that Altadena area, pushing across the 210, and then they just fade out completely. They just dissolve as you move down south of that point. El Monte and areas like that don't have to worry about Santa Ana wind-driven fires. So down in Orange County, still gusty winds. Look at Anaheim, 38. Laguna Beach, 25, gusts to 35. So all of these areas are prone to fires too, especially in these canyons in the Santa Ana area. That's where Santa Ana winds actually were named by an LA Times reporter back in the day because the winds were so strong in Santa Ana, but they're strong everywhere. So they're truly Santana winds. 22 out at Banning. Winds are gusting at Riverside and have been all day long. So the wind velocities remain very strong through about sunrise tomorrow. At that time, I think as we head toward the late morning, early afternoon, we'll see the desert starting to heat up. That separates the thermal gradient. When that happens, the winds start to back down. But that's not going to happen until 10, 11 o'clock noon tomorrow. Here's a shot for our Altadena forecast. Powerful. And then once we get into late morning, early afternoon, those winds actually shift to the southwest briefly. Heavy winds today. There are some of the wind velocities. The area
It's
of low
2
pressure.
o'clock in the morning.
And you can see it beautifully on the satellite image tonight. It's rotating on the Sea of Cortez. Here we are in Los Angeles. Big high out on the Pacific. The change in air pressure supported by, in the wintertime, December and January, you get cold air advection, meaning cold air from the north, and that drives the Santa Ana winds even stronger. Our strongest Santa Ana winds occur
God dang
in
it.
the wintertime. They are devastating in October because the air is hot. And we can still get Santa Ana winds in October. But once you get into December and January, that's when they can really get going. 11:05 tomorrow night. I like the looks of this because winds start to really.
So the reason why I call and I report them, because a lot of times they don't know what